We're going to skip Bellular's Stormblood impressions and we're just going to go straight into Shadowbringers. He finally finished it. This is not all of the patches. I'm hoping it's at least until 5.3, but I don't actually know. So let's see.
So you're telling me that Endwalker is 30% larger than that? I mean, wow, what the hell?
That's pretty big.
I just finished Shadowbringers 2 hours ago, and wow, what an immense expansion in every way. What they've achieved here is, it's incredible. The storytelling, just effortless. The character work, again, gameplay, I mean, wow. Where they ended up taking the gameplay. And lore. Oh, there is so much to talk about with Shadowbringers. After a long time fighting for light, it seemingly becomes our enemy. Wild things ensue, and this is the expansion that managed to take us to another world. The expansion that involves time travel, perhaps an alt timeline, and a shed load of cosmic lore. Yet somehow it's able to tell all of this stuff in a way that is completely rooted in character growth and is actually approachable.
When you think about it from the cosmic lore perspective, you're just like, oh my god. I never even drew, I guess I should have, but I'm just like, I never even drew that parallel. That's what Blizzard wants to do, and they just fuck it up so bad, and then Yoshi P comes out and is like, yeah, time travel, bitch. It's like it's done okay. I guess that's fine.
Standable.
Yeah,
the sights, the sounds, the spectacle, the music, their take on the light, how that's evolved. Even the setup in Heavensward. I get why Shadowbringers is talked about the way that it is. As for my take on the light, well, let's keep the lights on with Boxu, today's sponsor.
There it is.
It's the best place to get a slice of Japan each month, and 10% off with my code down below. That's up to 47 bucks off. Their boxes give you a real fun journey through top-notch Japanese snacking. Like, they literally ship everything from Japan, and they even partner with snack makers to make some pretty damn cool, unique treats. It's a perfect gift, and you may even win tickets to Japan, because Boxu have a giveaway open to anyone who is subscribed before December. Now, to get yours, and of course the 10% off link up to 47 bucks, hit up our link down below, and hey, you can get some tickets to Japan. Box is a bunch of fun, makes for a fantastic gift, and the link is down below. Thanks for that.
Japan just closed their borders, dude. You ain't going to Japan. I think they did, right? Then Japan closed their borders. You're not going to Japan, dude. Forget about it.
And let's go. I almost had no idea where to begin this because it's such an expansive expansion. But I think Heavensward is really the place to begin this video because patch 3.4 is what introduces us to the Warriors of Darkness. Of course, little at the time did we know that that basically is the role that we would end up fulfilling, right? And of course, the character of Ardbert, who really is you from the first. Oh yeah, and that whole thing. You know, the reflections, the source. It kind of lingers around in your head after 3.4. You think about it, but it doesn't end up being that relevant because then you're doing Stormblood. And then when they actually bring it fully into the game, they do so in a way that just makes it feel so grounded and approachable. Here I am. There's time shenanigans going on, I'm traveling between two different worlds, and yet it all feels completely grounded and reasonable. And with Ardbert, I mean, that is a character they set up in Heavensward, like an expansion and a half ago, because it was late Heavensward patch content. And I know the idea of setting up a character in advance is, of course, not a super crazy special thing. It's just that it was done so damn well in Heavensward, and of course at that time, it was all rooted in our search for Minfilia. Obviously something that comes back into Shadowbringers, and that itself is something set up at the end of A Realm Reborn, and you really get that sense with FF14 that just everything is relevant. Things don't go nowhere. They have a plan. And it just feels great. You really are just... It's just that way where it's one big story. It's not just a one-shot expansion, a one-shot expansion, a one-shot expansion, and a few lore ties to tie them together. No, it is one big goddamn story. And it just feels...
It's not even over yet. There's more.
feels great. And I mean, come on, I'm recording this a few days before Endwalker comes out. Now, with all of this setup, really it does revolve around Ardbert. And I loved how they ended it in 3.4. I especially loved his voice acting. You could get a real depth of emotion in that performance. And suffice to say, the way that is all handled in Shadowbringers is, it's just quite beautiful. And it's such a great narrative device, the setup where, the Warrior of Light goes to, well, I suppose Warrior of Darkness, to turn in for the night. That's where you have your conversations with Ardbert. You get to learn about his responsibility, his struggle with all of it. And of course, how that then ties into the end of Shadowbringers. That moment where the guitar riff decides it's time to come.
Dude.
It's so strong. It is so strong. It makes it all feel so rich. And I think it's just that level of immersion. Knowing that they have a plan. That time isn't wasted. That things are...
It took so, like, I've said it before, but it took so much of me to just not, like, break up and cry during that cutscene on stream. It's so good.
Always set up and paid off. That all of the basics are essentially executed excellently. It's like when you're safe in the knowledge of that, you're so much more able to just be completely immersed and completely invested in the story. And that's why they pull something off that I think traditionally is pretty hard to pull off. So if you're going to tell me that, hey, you're kind of going to an alt world of the one that you were on, or that's one way you could read all of the stuff, of course, with, with the reflections, the source, the explanations of all of that, they could feel quite technical. They could all feel rather alienating, hard to understand. But because of all of this excellent setup, they are able to effortlessly introduce you to a completely new world. One where Mikote go by a different name. One where chocobos are not the default mount. One where everything's just a little bit different. And where a cosmic force has completely taken control. With, of course, the Flood and how they deal with the light. And these could all be really big, alienating concepts, right? Big asks, saying, hey there, the people are, the factions, etc., that aren't here. It's a different world. And to be able to actually get people invested into that. A lot of times when a story does this, people say, oh, you've jumped the shark, or, you've went really deep into your expanded material or your transmedia stuff. I know people even found that for Halo and Gears of War. They even managed to run foul of that. But it's just so damn well done here. And it actually means that the first doesn't feel like some throwaway world. And of course, that's all because you're a total fish out of water when you first arrive. And the way that they introduce you to this world and have you explore this world is entirely rooted in character. And of course, in characters that you really, really do care about. I mean, of course, if you've done the Crystal Tower, you will have, it's part of MSQ. By the very second you start and you see, the Crystarium, you're like, okay, I think I have an idea what's going on here. The time travel bit may come as a little bit of a surprise later on. But as you're going through all of these different zones, I just absolutely love how well done it was, to the point where, really, it's the team getting you invested in a new world, in a way, for the second time. Because A Realm Reborn is the slice of the game that does that.
I think the key to getting you invested into this is the fact that they... basically you have your friends that have been stuck in this world for years, especially Thancred. Thancred was in there for 5 years ahead of everybody else. And then you get Rurikhan or whatever, was 3 years. And then I think it was Alphino and Alice who were the closest ones. But Rurikhan and Y'shtola, those were in there. They were in there for years, even though it was only hours or even a couple of days. I don't remember exactly back in the source. But your friends, that, I feel that is the connecting like the thing that connects you into this world is the fact that your friends are invested in the struggles because they're there and they're trying to solve things. It's the characters, you know? Because like if they just dropped you into the first, you'd be like, I don't give a crap what happened. Why should I care? I don't care. But it's like you're looking for your friends. You're getting the band back together and things have changed. Things have changed because they've been there for years. They've become invested into the world. And it's friggin' insane. It's really, really well done. The way that they get you investors through the friendship, due to the fact that you've spent like 3 entire story arcs with these characters. You've spent Realm Reborn with these characters. You've spent Heavensward with these characters. You spent Stormblood with these characters. And then you get to Shadowbringers. And in a way, Shadowbringers is kind of like similar to Heavensward in that your friends aren't all there yet. In fact, you could argue that in Heavensward you even have more friends because you were with just you, Alphino, and Tataru. And then in here, you're with, you're alone at the start. There's nobody there. I mean, there's one friend, but you don't really know who he is yet. So you're kind of like alone. And then you go and you find your first one, which I think is actually optional. It can be Alice or Alphino. You find them, and then you're like, okay, I have one of my friends now. And you're like, oh, I want to get the rest of them. I want to go get my friends. And that's kind of like the motivation to keep you going, which is why they're able to sell you on this world is just through the power of the characters.
For Eorzea, right? And that's when, they weren't as refined in their techniques. Here we get to see them do it on a brand new world with all of their updated techniques, all the knowledge they've gained, all the experience, and it is just exquisite. Now, as for me, I began my journey by going to track down Alice. And that's where you just get so many fantastic character moments. You really get a sense that in that year that she had spent, that she'd really grown. And the way that the seniors are really driven home to you with that storyline with Alice is, I mean, it's such a strong moment to be able for them to introduce a character, really get the stakes and kill that character off and have it feel pretty meaningful. It's just quite a feat. It's just so bloody well done. So, I love the first little bit of my journey. And then, of course, after that, well, meeting Alphino, Yulmore. I love what they were able to do with Yulmore. You get that looming sense that everything is so wrong.
I hated Yulmore, dude. I still don't like Yulmore. I don't like the aesthetic of the town. I don't like the theme of the town. If I could, I'd burn that place to the ground, dude. I would burn Yulmore to the ground. Like, I'm sorry.
Of course, you don't really know how bad Vothri is at that particular time. But Vothri, it's great because he managed to be such a fun villain.
He's an absolute unit.
In so many ways, because there's the very obvious, societal commentary that's going on. And you know what? It doesn't need to be subtle. When it's big and it's obvious and it's fun, it is just that, actually. Sometimes an exaggerated portrayal is just fun to engage in. So the initial foray there is... I mean,
what an absolute chunky.
At the end, I was in this situation like, man, I thought that would just be, a little bit shallow, a little bit quick. But no, I actually found myself being really invested there. And again, once more, that's possible because I care about Alphino. I care about the twins, right? See if any harm comes to them in Endwalker. Of course, then, when we return...
Dude, he's so invested.
Man, what a dungeon. I mean, through the
what about when you get, like, you guys remember how I paused when I had to kill Tesleen? I was like, no. Like, that is a very emotional moment because, like, you see Tesleen transformed in front of you and you're just like, no, you're not gonna dude. Like, that is such a powerful moment.
Burn and Grimlet Dark. Like, I got this sense of, holy shit, these dungeons are getting good. Talk about them later, but man, Shadowbringers dungeons are so good. And then as we move on from there, really it's just that thing where everything is rooted in character. right? Every new zone, because of course the whole thing is you're tracking down the Scions.
Dude, what about Thancred's character development? Like, as far as I'm concerned, Shadowbringers had literally the most development for Thancred as a character. Because kind of like, you know, after he was taken over by La Brea and Realm Reborn, he kind of took a bit of a backseat. He was just like, you know, he kind of jumped back into the front seat when he sacrificed himself for you at the end of Realm Reborn. But then, you know, since then, ever since he came back damaged from, what's it called? The flow? The ether flow, whatever. Ever since he basically came back damaged from the ether flow, like, they just kind of made him take a back seat. They really just made him take a back seat, and he just kind of became like this roguish dude that's like, oh, we need like a spy. Let's send Thancred in there. Like, that was it. It's like every time we need like some spy duty, just send Thancred in there. And then in the first, like, his characters get so much development.
You know, meeting Thancred, and man, does he get such a great time in this expansion. Y'shtola, Uber Danger, what a fellow he is. And exploring every zone with these characters. And to the point where the Scions are assembled again. And for the Scions to be assembled and taking to the field together, just, it's cool. The sense of camaraderie between all your characters, I mean, I suppose that really is the core of a Final Fantasy game, isn't it? And, well, surprise, surprise, they really do achieve it here. But I just loved the diversity of the zones. I mean, seeing all the Fae folk, of course, super fun. A little bit extra fun, given, you know, what part of the world I'm from. So that was all just really cool, really exciting. Then, of course, Lahi. Oh, what a zone! What a zone! That Judy in the Sunken Temple, and then even the lore
It's
with,
really good, yeah.
I've forgotten the name, the Buns, and also the Blessed. Great lore. And then, of course, I'd almost forget Yulmore coming in as a big threat, right? Ranjit. He might not be the most sort of deep villain in the universe. He does have his own little tragic backstory. But, man, he's just a really fun villain, actually. So, man, you just feel it as you go through this. And what I really found, what really amazed me was like, holy shit, it keeps on going. It just keeps on going. You know what I mean, right? Like, there's so much content. And the pace is always just so good. It's wild.
I'm just being reminded of all the story moments in Shadowbringers.
Man, and then, of course, Emmett Selch. What a villain. You know, and I don't want to bring WoW up all the time in these videos, but I remember Blizzard saying, okay, maybe we played our hand a little bit too much with the Lich King. Because in Wrath of the Lich King, Arthas would appear to you quite a few times. Emmett Selch is a great example of, actually give your villains screen time, because then maybe the player will actually get to have interactions with them, and we'll just get more invested. It totally works. I mean, Emmett Selch he's such a great villain. And I like how there's a little bit more to him. And I love the Ascian lore that you get, but I'll talk about the lore in a minute. So,
I just want you to know, Bellular, I see everything. I see everything.
yeah, but I'll talk about the lore in a minute. So, overall here, my point is they introduce a big new world in a way that has me, at the end of this expansion, not feeling like, oh, I want to go back to Eorzea and see what's going on with everyone at home. I mean, I do, but I want to go back to the first and see what's going on because I care about the first. And honestly,
that's the thing. That's the thing, right? You care about the first. Nobody gives a flying fuck what happens in the Shadowlands. Name me one player that gives a flying fuck what happens in the Shadowlands. People are just like, delete the Shadowlands for all I care. Fuck it. Delete, like, whatever Eternity's End place is called, too. Fuck that place. We just want to go back to Azeroth. No, you don't, Dragon Tamer. Don't lie. Don't meme.
that they were able to do that was impressive. I didn't know that really Shadowbringers would go down this way before I went into this expansion, and
Nobody
if you had
expected
have told me, like, the cliff notes of the setup, you know? Kind of like different world, time stuff going on from the Crystal Exarch, all of that. I might have thought, oh, that could be a bit alienating, you know? How are players going to care about this big new place when you've got years and years and years and multiple expansions of setup over in this place? But experiencing it is indeed believing, and I do. So I want to talk a bit about character work then. Thancred. You know, Thancred, we've always got it, right? Thancred's got a thing with Ophelia, and he is the way that he is, but properly getting to know him, actually seeing him be, you know, broken down, you know, his sort of steely exterior, really, just really strong. Really strong. A great vocal performance. And it's just that thing. There's always character development going on. Like, at all times in this script. And I know that you might think, of course, it's a story, it should have that. And yes, you're right, it should. But very often in games, you know, if we kind of think, you know, oh, it's only gameplay and levels that you're doing, and, you know, we'll try to get the character stuff in when we can, you realize a lot of the time in games, like, the character stuff doesn't happen as much, or sometimes it's slow or sparse. But no, they really do just heap on servings and servings and servings of character development for almost their entire cast here. Which works marvelously well. And that's what happens when you actually put in the groundwork and build a foundation and make us care about these characters, you know, and their journey. So, I mean, Thancred just marvelously done. And I'm, you know, previously I was like, oh yeah, you know, it's Thancred. He's everyone's e-boy, etc., etc.
Exactly.
But no. I care about the character a lot more now. Of course, the twins. You could probably talk about the twins for days.
Dude, Thancred, the quest against Ranjit, dude, that was on a different level. Like when I was doing that quest, I was like, holy shit. I really thought they were gonna do it. I really thought they were gonna do it. They were gonna end them right there, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, I was ready. I was ready for them to end him right there. And it wouldn't have even been a bad send-off because it was that good of character development that it would not have been a bad send-off. Dude, so good. It was so good. And it's one of those things that you could have a cutscene and it would not give you the same amount of emotion that it does if you just do the uphill battle. Like if you do that scenario, which is straight up an uphill battle the whole time, and you know that you're at a disadvantage, you feel it in the gameplay. It's expressed through gameplay how much Thancred is suffering and how much he's going to lay down the line to like, nope, I'm going to stay right here until I can't fucking move. And even then, you're going to have to chop my legs, break my arms, rip my head off before I move from here. It's...
You know that I have. But just their little interactions. You know, anytime Alizé gets to sort of scold Alphino or take the piss out of him for being the way that he is just adorable. It's fantastic. Y'shtola. I think I understand why she gets to be the teacher character in the manga. And why so many people have a certain special like for that character.
Special like.
A whole bunch of fun to have around. The Crystal Exarch. Yeah.
Dude.
Crystal Tower being a part of MSQ. Very, very, very important. But I really enjoyed his character. I really liked how things went down after the fight with Vothri. You know, I mean, what a big scene. The way that his arc... well, I don't want to say ends because I haven't done the patch content yet, but you know where it gets to be at the end. But for me, really, it's victory in the details. It's success in the details. It's the lines of dialogue. It's the performances. It's the consistent commitment to character.
Nah, dude, you can't stay here if you're curious about spoilers.
And it's what allows them to do everything. And that really is the strength of forming the Scions in Realm Reborn and having this be your story as a member of that organization with that cast of characters. And sure, the cast will expand and contract with the various different expansions. Our
Let expanse contract. Eons become instant. It will expand and contract. Really, Bellular? Really, dude? You thought we weren't going to catch that? Of course, the cast is going to expand and contract. Let expanse contract. Eons become instant. Warriors of light, heed my call.
Emmerichs are Hiens, but having it around that core cast, it's just so powerful because it means you can take that group anywhere, I think, and find success, because no matter what, the player is always going to be rooted in the bonds the characters share with each other. That's the important thing. That's the foundation. That's the thing to learn. Vothri. Vothri's so enjoyable.
Mule.
He's
turns
so
his head
enjoyable as a
180
villain.
degrees.
I love it. Of course, gets a little bit more creepy toward the end with Vothri, but he's just so much fun. Obvious commentaries, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, Vothri and Ulmor, I know that.
Guys, Vothri is just Bobby Kotick. In our current story arc, Vothri is Bobby Kotick. That's what he is. That's his real life thing. It just wants to keep on. He just wants to keep on, eating the profits of Activision by all means possible. Except he's not going to turn into a hot dude at the end. We're just going to get him removed from Activision Blizzard.
Like, they're not the primary villain, but I thought they were just so much fun to have around. And I really like how within Ulmor, the characters, like the, in the source, they'd be Mikote. That couple, right? That, you and Alphino end up trying to work for at the very start.
China's.
I really like just the little bits of their development. It's not the most in-depth, complex stuff, but they go the effort of doing it. And they do it well. Even within the kind of 2-bit villain, you could almost say at the start where it's like, oh yeah, the literal fat cat. I mean, literal fat cat, rich people, basically preying and exploiting the poor. Could have been very easy to have just done that very quickly and simply. But no. No, actually, after you kick Vothri out in a duty that, again, by the way, super fun, those characters are all treated like real people. Real people with motivations and desires and responsibilities, and that's just what makes that moment where, the people of Ulmor and the people, even the exiles, all of the groups that you've helped across Novrent, when they all come together to help build the massive Talos, it just makes that such a satisfying moment. And I guess that's one of the crazy things, because between meeting all the Scions again, having all the great stuff going on, like, say, the Fey folk, the culminations, the various different zones, the emotional, pacing of this is just so solid. It really is incredible. On the topic of content, then, I just want to say the duties are great. I mean, especially the temple. That temple duty was awesome. And sure, it didn't have the most complex puzzles in the world, but it was just really fun. It was really thematic. It was immersive. So I love what they're doing with the duties. Then in terms of bosses, great bosses the whole way through. The Vothri fight,
He hasn't even fought the Warrior of Light. Keep that in mind. He hasn't even experienced the Warrior of Light.
It was really thematic. It was immersive. The dungeon that preceded that. You start up, you're walking up a big rocky dude, and then suddenly you emerge into, I mean, it's almost like technological looking, the way the light is forming, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful, and the fights are great. And man, that ending fight, there's those bits where you're like, I don't know what's going on, but fuck it, this is really cool. Hopefully I don't die. I'm going to hit my buttons and enjoy the spectacle. Just an incredible fight, an incredible finale. The actual quality of the content was stellar. This team is going from strength to strength. From the start of Stormblood to the end of Stormblood, you can see the dungeon quality. I think in general, for me anyway, I felt
would anyone question whether or not Shadowbringers is the best MMORPG expansion ever made? I'm genuinely curious. We're gonna run a poll in chat. Whoops. We're gonna run a poll in chat. Shadowbringers best MMORPG expansion ever made. Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 options. Yes, no, and I prefer Heaven's Word. Those are 3 options. Yes, no, and I prefer Heaven's Word. We're going to run this for a minute.
Dungeon quality increase, at least in the limited capacity in which I was doing dungeons as a part of MSQ, and that continues here. Of course, the trials have, I think, pretty much, always been great, especially lately. But once again here, the trials are just fantastic. So, the story, beautiful. The content, incredible. The pacing, incredible. I mean, it's like top marks in every category.
Yep.
Including music. Oh, Soken has done one hell of a job.
Music is like, look, this is just the best. This is the best. It's like, forget about it. Soken's the best.
Love how experimental the music is here. Fitting for you going to another world.
You can't see the poll. You should be able to see the poll, Joygun. Most people can see the poll, I hope. But, yeah.
Right? And as much as people like meme on Leahy, I love that track. I love going in that zone. The melody in that track as well.
By the way, guys, here's the results of that poll. Shadowbringers best MMORPG expansion ever made. Yes, I prefer Heaven's Word. No. 3 people said no. 5 people said they prefer Heaven's Word.
Of course, I now get why everybody is listening to the boss fight music on Spotify. I get it. It's great. Those boss fights are just so elevated by the music. And then especially as you get onto the end. Oh boy. When you and Ardbert
Dude, not this cutscene again.
Guitar riff starts. It's a big moment. It's a big moment. And Soken's score it just elevates everything, doesn't it? It's just, this game's a complete experience.
What about when Ardbert speaks for you? Like when they zoom in on the face and your character's actually speaking and it's like, this is our moment, our story. I was like, holy shit, dude, that's what?
It's the complete experience. You're getting everything. MMO fights that are fantastic.
This world is not yours to end.
Classes, jobs that are really fun to play. Story it's the best in MMOs, from what I can tell. I get why people are saying Shadowbringers is the best of JRPGs as of late. And, I said, oh, this is peak video games whenever I finished. One of the first responses was, almost peak video games. Just wait to 9.3. So I've got it covered.
Exactly, dude. You don't even know.
This was an absolute
He doesn't even know.
Pleasure. It was a treat. Came at the right time too. I've had a few rough little things going on that I've not particularly shared, online or whatever. And I'm very glad that. Well, certainly, let's just say, you could say, I needed something this good. You know what it's like, right? Sometimes things are a bit iffy. Good video game comes in and just, keeps you held together for a bit, right? So, it did come at a really great time for me. And I get, you might say, well, oh, okay, that means that you're not really being objective here. I mean, number one, this was never an objective review. This is my impressions, 2 hours after finishing it. But, I think that regardless of where I came to this personally, it is pretty much exquisite in all counts. I even like the fanfare and the default battle music, and I know some people found them to be a bit discordant and grating, but
dude, I love the fucking combat music.
How just ballsy and out there they went.
How can you not like Insatiable and the other one? I don't remember the name. The one that plays outside of Instance. How can you not like that? It's so good.
With the score, this game's got such a voice. It's got such an identity. And I guess then to finish in the lore, and I'll do this quick. Oh, the lore is so cool. I absolutely love the lore. The end. I mean, I need to talk about the spectacle. God damn it! Oh, the video's going to be going on forever. Sorry, John. Can you see the Asian city at the end? Oh my god. It's... yeah, you're in like all the different Rapture. I don't want to be reductive. Of course, Rapture's going to come to the mind. Come on, City Under the Sea. But the way that you see the shades, and the way that humanizes Emmett Selch, and the
Look at his voice. Look at his voice, dude.
other assets, I mean, obviously deplorable, but the way that it humanizes them, the way that you can understand them.
Like, listen to the tone of his voice right here.
Understand Emmett Selch. Come to the mind. Come on, City Under the Sea. But the way that you see the shades, and the way that humanizes Emmett.
Like, just see right there. Right there. I know, because that's exactly what happens to me. That's how I know. It's exactly what happens to me, dude. You can hear it. You can hear it, dude.
Selch. And the other assets, I mean, obviously deplorable, but the way that it humanizes them, the way that you can understand them. That conversation with his friend, when you're basically waiting at the... what's called the DMV in America, it's a really good conversation. And, oh, man. Yeah, so... just that thing of spectacle. It's what they fucking nail. The dungeon. The final dungeon.
Dude, Amaro is so good.
Through the burning city. The burning city, the incredible monster designs, and bam, you are standing over the world. And then the Emmett Selch fight happens. And my god, what a fight. The spectacle,
What about when you see
smoke?
What about when you see Grahatia come up out of nowhere, and he's like, I can't believe you're still standing. And he's just like, I could not well leave matters half finished. Let expense contract. Eons dude, that was so fucking hell, dude.
Writhing around you as the phase transition happens. Every time they do a phase transition, it's so cool. I know that this has been a barely structured ramble, but fuck it. That's what it is.
Fuck it.
I mean, we got to do this raw. I just finished the damn thing 2 hours ago, and guess what I'm going to do, everyone? I'm going to
go play 5.1.
I'm going to get into 5.1. Because time is short. And you're damn right, I am going to have this by Endwalker Maintenance. Because I'm so goddamn fired up for this story. And I've seen the Endwalker trailer. And they're signposting things that have me, very excited, but, worried. If certain two characters comforting each other, I'm like, whew, if you heard our video game kids. So yeah, look, that's what it is for me. I mean, just what an experience. I get it. And you just know. Whenever people see this, and I mean, especially 5.3 from all of what I hear, you get why everyone in FF is just saying, yes, A Realm Reborn is slow, but goddammit, go through it. So, look, this is an incredible expansion. Masterful. For me, I do think it's number 1. Heavensward is
number
2.
1!
They're both in the upper echelon.
No, but what I want to know, Bellular, what about if we throw Wrath of the Lich King in the mix? How are you going to feel? Because to me, Shadowbringers just like took a dump on Wrath of the Lich King straight up. And that's the best shit that Blizzard ever made for World of Warcraft. And Shadowbring, like, Wrath doesn't even come close. It doesn't even, like, it looks upwards at the moon. And that's kind of like where Shadowbringers is, like in the fucking moon, dude. No, actually, Endwalker is going to be in the moon.
Stormblood is a bit below that. But it's still doing pretty damn good. It's
number 1.
It's still hitting above par, especially when you get into its MSQ. You know what? A special mention to the ending of A Realm Reborn, because it's right up there at the very top.
Yep, it's
that glimmer. That's that glimmer at the very start of this game where you realize, well, the very start, you know what I mean. You just realize, wow,
look at Grahatia.
These people are going somewhere. This development team has got it, and they sure do. Okay, I think I have some patches to play. And I think I have Endwalker to get ready for. maybe you do as well. So have a wonderful day. A thank you to Boxu for stepping in to support this channel. It's been awesome to have him. You can check out their link down below and get some tasty treats and perhaps even a ticket to Japan. All right. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you so much for listening in, and I'll see you next time.
It's so cool, dude. I'm super happy that he enjoyed it as much as he did. Nobble's been playing it as well. It's going to be interesting to see Nobble's take if he ends up making videos about it too. That'll be cool.